Hello, my name is Gabron, and welcome to my presentation on service learning. Now, before we begin, let me ask you a few questions. Have you ever felt that kids today lack real-world experience? Have you ever wondered about the potential negative effects of being in a classroom for long periods of time? Does the use of books, videos, and manipulatives feel limiting? Or what about this? Have you ever felt that a student may be able to recall the knowledge but still can't apply it in a real-world context? Or do you just miss child labor? Of course, I'm just kidding about the last one. But these common frustrations may have a potential solution. Welcome to service learning. So, what is service learning? In a nutshell, it is a form of community service. Academically speaking, it is a learning strategy that is progressive but has been done historically for generations. Its application takes advantage of the natural learning environment to engage students in a skill and apply it in a literal way. Edutopia describes it as an educational approach that combines learning objectives with community service in order to provide a pragmatic, progressive learning experience while meeting societal needs. But practically speaking, it is where a student learns theories in the classroom and at the same time volunteers with an agency. That's right. It's about getting off the computer screen, rolling up your sleeves, and doing some old-fashioned communal and social engagement. According to youthpower.com, service learning implementation consists of 5 steps or stages. The first step is called investigation. In this step, the class uses critical thinking to identify and analyze community needs and assesses their own interests, skills, and talents. In the next stage, students will prepare to take action through service. This is through gaining knowledge and skills aligned with academic objectives and collaborating with community partners to create a service plan that addresses and identifies community needs. Now, once there is a defined plan in place, the class or individual student will engage in a direct service component. And through meaningful and creative service, the student enhances their learning and is provided guided practice and social responsibility. We will discuss some examples of direct service in the next slide. The fourth stage is referred to as the evaluation stage, and this is where the student and class evaluate the service learning experience as a whole to identify successes and areas for improvement. The last stage, of course, is demonstration. Here, the student is tasked to showcase the insights and outcomes gained through the service learning experience. This is done through documentation of the learning process and subsequent presentation of what they went through. Now, some examples of direct service learning would be volunteerism, which are acts of service performed out of free will without the expectation of recompense, and is generally seen as altruistic in nature. And the main beneficiaries are generally those served directly by the student. In a community service experience, it is quite similar to volunteerism, with the main difference being that it is said to involve more structure and commitment than do regular volunteer programs. Now, internships can provide students with experience in various fields of work. However, unlike volunteerism and community service, the students gain a more measurable benefit from this aspect of service learning. Lastly, there's field education, which, like internships, is generally more materially beneficial to the student. Field education involves programs that provide students with co-curricular service opportunities that are related but not fully integrated with their formal academic studies. Now let's watch a short informative video about the stages of service learning.
There are a lot of ways to help and get involved in what is called service learning. But how do you start? Service learning is a process of connecting your learning to needs in the community. Here's how it works. You create a plan, follow a process, and make a positive impact for others and for you. It all begins with investigation. Take some time and look at the world around you. Think and act like a detective. What are some issues you care about? What resources or talents do you have to make a difference in the world around you? What does your community need? Just as you study geography to discover the physical placement of things in the world, you investigate and study community needs to discover what can be improved. Next, it's time for preparation. You can work with classmates, teachers, and your community to create a plan around how you're going to address these needs. You could work with your science teacher to collect water samples, or ask your gym teacher to help host a jump rope-a-thon. You could even work with your classmates to write a grant in order to purchase materials or transportation. Ask yourself, what do we need to achieve our goal? Who might be able to help us? And how can they help? Then take action and dedicate some of your time, talent, or treasure to make a difference. There are 4 types of service to consider. Direct service is when you work directly with or for people, animals, or the environment. You can provide indirect service. This is when you take action without even seeing who you help. You can also advocate and lend your voice to a cause or movement. Or do original research and gather information about an issue to inform others to take action. Throughout the entire process, it's important to reflect. Take a step back and look at what you're doing with fresh eyes. Think about what's happening before, during, and after you take action. What do you hope to accomplish? How are you doing? Could you make it even better? Reflection is the time to think, discuss, and learn from your actions. Finally, demonstration is the time to show off your challenging work. Take center stage to explain what you learned and share the cool things you accomplished for those you helped, the community you served. Investigate, prepare, take action, reflect, demonstrate. This is the strategy that will make your service learning more than a one-time action. It will kickstart a meaningful experience with a lasting effect. Give it a try and see for yourself the great things you can do.
If you learn about philanthropy, then it kind of affects your future. Like you become a better person.
It means more than just giving. Sharing, helping people, and just making sure everyone can be the best they can.
There's just a satisfaction to me about giving back to people that aren't lucky enough to have what I have, like food or a home to stay in. So just giving back to them and allowing them to have a part of that, even if it's just one meal, it means a lot to me.
Thank you, learningtogive.org. Definitely check out that website for other great information about service learning. Now, here's a list of some websites with further information and alternative options for educational practices. The first one is called youthpower.org. This is a great website that provides a large list of resources for communal involvement on a global scale. The second one is called Edutopia. Edutopia provides great links and articles related to service learning. I've also included a podcast called Service Learning and Experiential Education. So in summation, let's think about the following questions. What are some examples of possible service learning experiences? An example could be on-the-job training at a grocery store or industrial facility, or community organization such as fundraisers and donations. How would you go about organizing a service learning experience for your class? Some possible ideas could be by calling some local businesses and seeing if they participate in any community engagement, or writing a letter to someone in your local city government. There are many ways to find service learning opportunities. Lastly, what are some potential, unique, and interesting service learning opportunities in your area? Personally, I'm from Orlando, and there are a lot of advocacy groups for marginalized populations, such as the Orlando Youth Alliance that provides assistance to LGBTQ+ youths, and iDignity that helps provide identification to individuals who need it. Service learning is an incredible way to give your classroom a real-world practical experience while providing much-needed assistance to your local or global community. Here are the sources for my presentation. I hope you have enjoyed it and have a wonderful day.